impurities to settle out. Pour off the solution from the top, being careful not to add impurities to the mix. The impurities found in calcium chloride flake and pellets have been known to cause discoloration in pool finishes. No more than 2% by weight of cement, approximately ½ pound per bag, can be used. Overuse will cause discoloration. Misting the shell. Mist the shell with cool, clean water, but do not leave any standing water. The substrate should be cool and damp, but not dripping wet. Standing water will weaken the Diamond Brite finish in isolated areas and result in delamination. Hot, dry shells will cause rapid setting of the Diamond Brite finish and may result in check or shrinkage cracking and delamination. Pumping. Although it's not necessary to use a plaster pump, many contractors choose to do so. Included here are some helpful hints for successful pumping. Prepare a slurry and run it through the pump first to prime the pump and lubricate the hoses. Next, pour the mixed Diamond Brite slowly into the pump hopper. Do not pour all the material in at once. Agitate the material in the hopper to prevent separation of the cement and aggregates. Application. Apply a scratch coat to the bowl first. The bowl will set up last, and it will be necessary to walk on the bowl during the exposure process. Beginning with the shady walls and working to the sunny walls, trowel a scratch coat on the walls and allow to set up slightly. The set time will vary according to temperature and humidity, so constant inspection of the Diamond Brite during the application time is essential. Apply finish coat to the entire pool surface, working to a minimum of 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch thick. Careful troweling will help to ensure even exposure, reduce washouts, and produce a comfortable, slip-resistant finish. The technique of slick troweling is recommended. In this process, the cement paste is brought to the surface during troweling and is removed with the trowel. This produces a slick surface and minimizes the exposure needed. The colored aggregate can be seen through a thin film of cement paste after troweling is complete. Special attention must be given to filling in holes left by shoe spikes. The applicator must be careful to fill all spike holes with Diamond Brite aggregate to avoid visible blemishes. Extra care must be taken to ensure proper troweling in the coves and corners. Insufficient troweling in these areas will result in roughness and washouts, loss of cement and aggregate during the exposure process. Exposure. Proper application requires 1 workman for every 300 square feet to properly expose Diamond Brite. The exposure time is limited to approximately 1 hour, but will vary according to local weather conditions. Exposing Diamond Brite too soon or too late will result in uneven exposure. Some areas may be ready for exposure while other areas are still being troweled. Constant inspection of the Diamond Brite for readiness is imperative. We will now go over several successful techniques for Diamond Brite. This is by far the most effective technique and produces the best results with standard Diamond Brite finishes. It is not recommended for the Diamond Brite Quartz series. When the Diamond Brite has lost its sheen or is no longer damp, it will be ready for exposure with soft bristle brushes and water. The material must be sufficiently set up to allow applicators to walk on the floor without leaving footprints. Wear white cotton socks or foam shoes when exposing Diamond Brite. Boots and bare feet are not recommended. Test the Diamond Brite for readiness by carefully washing a small area with a soft bristle brush. If the cream washes away without losing aggregate, the exposure process may begin. Starting with sunny or fast-setting areas, begin washing away cement paste with water and brushes. Use a bucket first, then progress to a soft flow of water from a garden hose as the material begins to harden. Begin using stiff bristle brushes as the set progresses. Examine the Diamond Brite for hot spots that may be setting quickly. Mist these areas with water to allow longer exposure time. Over-cured cement paste will not remove easily and may require stiff bristle brushes to remove. Avoid slow-setting areas like shady walls and the bowl. Washing too soon in these areas will cause washouts. If an area washes out, it must be retroweled immediately. Keep some extra Diamond Brite mixed up for use in patching washout areas. Keep a sump pump running in the main drain at all times to discharge the washed solution. Dispose of wash as directed by local codes and requirements. Avoid leaving hoses, buckets, or any other items on the Diamond Brite surface during exposure, as this will result in visual blemishes. When all of the cement paste has been removed from the surface uniformly, the brush phase is complete. If done thoroughly, this will complete the exposure brushing process. Acid washing. This technique is commonly used in cold climates or when the applicators lack sufficient experience to undertake water washing. It's easier to do, but can produce a less uniform finish. However, use this technique when applying the Diamond Brite Quartz series. After troweling, allow the Diamond Brite to fully set up. This may take anywhere from 1 to a few hours or overnight, depending on weather temperatures and humidity. Begin acid washing by using a 25% solution of muriatic acid. Higher concentrations may be needed for stubborn areas, and water to remove the cement films that may remain on the surface. Increase the concentration of the acid solution as needed. Begin washing the bowl first and work up to the shallow end. Following this procedure will minimize rivers or streaks on the floor. Acid wash walls and steps last. Do not allow acid wash solution to puddle in the bowl area. Use a sump pump to constantly discard the runoff after it is diluted and neutralized. The use of an acid wash additive to reduce fumes and ensure uniform coverage is highly recommended. Neutralize and discard the wash solution according to local codes and requirements. Neutralize acid remaining on the Diamond Brite finish with sodium bicarbonate and water to avoid discoloration. Startup and water balance. After the Diamond Brite finish is exposed, let it air dry for as long as conditions will allow. Delaying the fill water a few hours or until the next morning will reduce the occurrence of shade variations, mottling. Care must be taken not to over-dry the Diamond Brite finish, which may result in shrinkage cracking. There are no substitutes for experience and knowledge of local conditions in determining how long to let the Diamond Brite finish air dry. Pre-filter the water with a carbon tank and use a sequestering agent to eliminate stain-causing contaminants. Start the circulation system as soon as possible using the main drain line. Do not start the system until the water level is above the return inlets. Circulate the pool continuously for the first 3 days. On the first day, test and record chlorine, pH, total alkalinity, calcium hardness, and temperature levels. Adjust pH to 7.2 to 7.4 and the total alkalinity to 100 ppm. Dissolve all chemicals in water first and allow sufficient time for each chemical to be fully dispersed before adding others. Do not add chlorine or calcium chloride. Brush the entire surface twice each day for the first 3 days. Clean the filter as needed. On the second day, record water testing and levels. Adjust pH to 7.2 to 7.4 and the total alkalinity to 100 ppm. On the third day, adjust all the chemistry to the noted levels. Free chlorine, 1.0 to 3.0 ppm. pH, 7.4 to 7.6. Total alkalinity, 90 to 120 ppm. Calcium hardness, 200 to 400 ppm. Stabilizer, 30 to 90 ppm. Maintenance. Lower calcium levels help to reduce scale and discoloration. Adjust the pump timer to normal operating hours. Do not install automatic pool cleaners for 28 days. Do not vacuum the pool with a wheeled vacuum for 14 days to avoid leaving wheel marks. Brush-type vacuums may be used immediately. Brush pool walls and floor daily for the first 2 weeks. When you see this SGM Gold Seal, you can rest assured that you're using the highest quality product available today that is supported by our warranty program. It's a sign of our commitment to achieve the highest quality standards in all our swimming pools and spas. SGM, your single source manufacturer of installation systems for swimming pools, spas, and deck finishes. By following these steps in this video, you can protect and extend the beauty of every pool you install. Win referrals. Add to your revenues. Enhance reputation. Add to your professional image. No matter what the surface, SGM is a solid foundation you can build on. For more information about SGM, Diamond Brite, River Rock, or Durazo, call 1-800-641-9247 or contact your local swimming pool professional.